Comics. They're coming at you at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
All of your eyeballs, if you're a spider.
Yeah, I guess
Many
this video.
eyeballs.
Any spiders in comics this week? I don't think so.
I didn't see any spiders.
I read Venom.
I'm sure
there's
I wouldn't
spider
need to
people
put
there.
the slider all the way to thing.
This lady
You don't
has to
like
have a
spiders?
tattoo. Hold on.
No, I said I wouldn't need to
Oh,
do
you
that,
wouldn't,
so I
okay.
don't know if I would even notice if there was one.
I was about to say, like, I didn't know that about you. Like, you're pretty hardcore. Then you're terrified of spiders.
I mean, you thought we had to close because you saw a centipede. So I don't know.
That is, in context, sounds much better.
Between Wednesdays, just trying to get by to the next fix. Living between Wednesdays, prefer the comics over the Netflix. Living between Wednesdays.
Well, we're on the heavy metal train. Jay, you want to tell us about this Brooklyn Gladiator?
So Heavy Metal finally is producing their shorts
In single issue
comics, which is great because they're usually pretty dense and heavy with lore building, and they're usually 5 pages at a time in a bi-monthly magazine. So once you get to chapter 16, 8 years have gone by. I don't know what's happening. I don't know who any of these people are. But the remedy to that is Heavy Metal comic book publishing, whatever. Here we go. They're in the thing.
I love this as a concept. As a person who gets heavy metal and then is like really into reading these comics and
Yes.
can't share them with anyone because people are like, do they even make that anymore?
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
do I find it? It comes out quarterly. I don't know. I don't care about this. Now I can actually be like, a comic.
Yeah. So there were 2 of them that came out this week, right? And the other one was Killfish?
Fish Kill.
Fish Kill. Yeah.
Fish Kill.
And Fish Kill is the Ben Templesmith illustrated, just like judge, jury, and executioner, tough guy, whatever. I know.
Ben
I'm sorry.
Templesmith.
We're getting past Ben Templesmith? Okay.
What
We're getting Ben
did I read by him recently? The Squitter. That's what I read by him recently.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm going to talk about Brooklyn Gladiator for a couple reasons. Not only is it good, I don't know. Is it well illustrated? I can't really put that up for debate either. But it is the most heavy metal thing you could ever heavy metal. If you were like, Jason, what's the quintessential heavy metal book to look at right now? What's heavy metal all about? What do we need? What's the thing? Bam! Here you go. Brooklyn Gladiator.
Somewhere between Judge Dredd and Bladerunner and Blade.
Yeah, it's a book lost in time. I thought I was high in the back of
And
the
a teen.
in the back of the surf mall in Ocean City, New Jersey, next to all these Jimi Hendrix posters and toys of retro Star Wars toys.
And like Neo.
And
thinking that I took the red pill or whatever.
It's really sketchy art. Like you could see that you could visualize the art space in your head, which is just a lot of coffee and marijuana and a pen and an inkwell. Anyway, Brooklyn Gladiator. What's it about? You've been hyping it enough. Get to it. Anyway, Brooklyn Gladiator. It's the future. Drugs. There's a singular drug and it's legal. It's called fluff, and it makes you feel like everything's fine in your head. You're your own god in your brain. You just fluff for a reason. You kind of sink into like a euphoric state. But every time
What, you mean like Twitter?
kind of. But every time you
I don't
smoke,
feel euphoric.
I'm reaching there.
but every time you take fluff, much like Twitter, it has a bunch of nanites in them. So if you break the law, the nanites can take you apart and then use your molecular DNA and building materials to build other stuff, buildings, all that jazz.
So I'm smoking some fluff.
You
I
feel
break the law.
you break the law,
It's-
you fall apart.
Yeah, fluff is government mandated.
Yeah.
So this is like a weird cyberpunk dystopia where fluff is just given to citizens 3 times a day, and then everyone's kind of fucked up and mulling around.
Yeah.
Christian Bale, Sean Bean, Equilibrium.
The equilibrium, yeah. That's not fluff. That's
No,
more like
that's just like pacifier.
Yeah. But anyway, it stars, I even forgot his name, but he's shaved head, muscular, rebellious guy who likes to beat up future cops.
I think his first name's John. It's John.
John,
something
yeah,
for
Jonathan,
sure.
yeah. And then He also joins the gladiator fights, because in the future there's underground gladiator fights in Brooklyn,
Of
especially.
course.
But also he distilled his own fluff that does not have nanites in it, and he's not sure how potent his dosages are, because he's starting to hear voices and talk to people telepathically.
And see the future.
And see the future
maybe.
potentially.
We don't know.
But anyway, he also has this very voluptuous lady girlfriend who's naked, all of it, I think. I don't think
Yeah.
and he's also naked.
Very misleading.
Naked or
So it's-
in the shower.
So it's equal.
Two states.
So it's very PC and quality driven that they're both naked. And it seems like his best friend's now a robot cop, ABC Warrior-like thing.
I don't know.
They hint at it. I'm not sure. But anyway,
He knows that guy.
yeah, he knows that guy. But if you want like a dystopian future that's cyberpunk with boobs and butts and muscles and spikes and guns
And drugs.
and just
robots.
everything that heavy metal stands for.
Yeah.
This is the book.
So when
It's the like weird cyberpunk dystopian thing that you would imagine against the like sword and sorcery buxom ladies
Yeah.
thing that you would imagine. There's like a couple different flavors that this comes in. This is the tech dystopia.
This is the
one.
tech dystopia.
A bygone era.
Chris,
What's
we
going
got a
on
comic here.
in Miles to Go?
Yeah, so my pick of the week is by Aftershock Comics. It's called Miles to Go. I feel like we've had this comic before. So I don't know if you remember, but like a year or two ago, I want to say, we got like that assassin comic about a bunch of ladies who used to be on a team who did a bunch of missions and assassinations, and now they had like went off and like gotten married and had kids and whatever, and then you're making a face like you know what I'm talking about. It wasn't like Assassinistas, unless maybe it was.
Was it Assassinistas?
I don't remember what it was called.
There's like something there, but it's
Yeah, but anyway, that one, it was by Black Crown.
Okay.
It had like very, very simple artwork. I loved the concept of it, but it never really got personal with the characters. It sort of relied on them as like tropes, just to further the plot that got pretty convoluted towards the end. And it was too bad because there was a lot of potential for like some emotional development. So now we get Miles to Go from Aftershock. And I feel like this is already a much more developed version of this concept. So it follows a lady who, when she was a kid, worked with a guy, and clearly they were up to some shit. Like they at least assassinated one person, but the implication is many.
Yes.
And she has a daughter now. She's going through a fresh divorce. The guy she worked with is very old and in the hospital. He's gonna pass away. She's put that life behind her, but she still thinks about it sometimes, especially since she's sort of like seeing off her former like compadre in her unsavory times, as it were. And it just so happens that there's an investigation that sort of brings back up her sordid past. It's also a little bit like Silencer, which came out. It was from DC Comics.
So I remember it coming out. I never read it. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, cool, Punisher, but
Yes.
somewhat facetiously. But
Punisher, but a lady, and
Yes.
she's retired or whatever.
yes,
It was pretty good. It was
Alright.
pretty good, but then it tried to fold into DC lore, and then it was sort of harmed by the fact that they were like, oh, and now Talia al Ghul is part of it.
Oh, jeez.
And it's too bad because again, what I wanted was this. What I wanted was a story about a person, like a human being, a real human woman, who was I know it's a lot to ask,
lame.
who was experiencing these problems and trying to sort of move on and raise kids after growing up sort of like fucked up.
Yeah.
And this looks like what it's going to be, and I'm really, really excited. So the art on this is amazing. I think the character profiles are really well defined. I like how much mystery we're given to deal with, and I like how much is not done in exposition. Like, it's all done in the dialogue.
That's refreshing, yeah.
Which is, I feel like I'm always taking a crap on comics for just like dumping a bunch of exposition in between the lines. So I really appreciate that as well.
Yeah, this could have easily been handled in exposition boxes or like inner monologue sort of vibes. It wasn't. And I really appreciated that about it. So then the character feels a little bit more real and fleshed out than normal. And also, her daughter isn't treated like an invalid, nor is she treated like just like an insanely smart, gifted child, right? It seems very even keel.
Yeah.
And their relationship is pretty well established. So I'm excited to see where it goes when shit hits the fan, which it does by the end of this issue.
Yeah.
So Miles to Go is definitely something that I'm interested in. Definitely gonna stick with it for the duration. I don't have to 3-issue rule this. It is an example of something I've seen a bunch of times handled much more poorly.
I read The Immortal She-Hulk through the lens of someone who has never read any She-Hulk ongoings, but who is obsessed with the regular Immortal Hulk. There are a lot of comics, dude. I'm working my way through them.
I'll give you some She-Hulk stuff.
Please do. Allison's bringing me the 12-issue miniseries of like Wanda or like Scarlet Witch and Vision from the 80s, where it's just like a family suburban drama.
Yeah.
So like, I'm looking forward to that, and bring me some She-Hulk too.
Wasn't she like the first character to like break the fourth wall and know that she was in a comic?
Oh, apparently she did it like before Deadpool, before it was cool. So they're gonna make the She-Hulk show is gonna be self-referential. Like, ripping off Deadpool. Anyway, so first of all, it was great. We'll just get that off the table. This is a very good comic. It's well written. It's well drawn.
It is. It's a very beautiful.
Yeah. So it's a little one shot, and sort of the purpose of this is to involve She-Hulk in the new Gamma mythos that Al Ewing has introduced to the Hulk legacy. If anybody hasn't read any of the Immortal Hulk, basically the concept that's been introduced in this run is that every Gamma irradiated individual, like the leader, Doc Samson, the Hulk, She-Hulk, Rick Grimes, no, that's Walking Dead. Rick Jones.
Jones.
Rick Jones.
Samson? What's his name?
Yeah, Doc Samson.
Yeah.
But basically, all these Gamma-involved individuals have almost like a shared afterlife with this like Gamma devil called the One Below All, and there's a unifying visual, these green doors that once they're in like this Gamma afterlife, they pass back through a green door to enter their life. To resurrect.
Resurrected.
Yeah, because that's the whole thing. None of the Hulks, none of the Gamma people can die. They just keep coming back. And so this is re-exploring some She-Hulk events through that lens. We sort of got something similar with this in the regular Immortal Hulk run a few issues ago with the Leader, where it looked at a bunch of comic history with the Leader, but through the lens of, but he kept going to this green door afterlife. And then the Leader is very important in this issue as well, because he's sort of been in the afterlife looking through all these green doors, pulling some strings and having some input to the Hulks and other Gamma individuals who come back to this afterlife. And so this issue explores She-Hulk has died 3 or 4 times within continuity, and it explores each of those deaths through the green door, through this afterlife. She has some really well-written scenes with other, like Wolverine and Thor both show up, just discussing, like, you've died, like, you're immortal, how do you deal with this?
Yeah.
How do you, because Wolverine, she's like, you've died a few times, how does that work? And with Thor, she's like, you're going to live forever, apparently I'm going to live forever, how's that going to work? And it's sort of her...
She realizes that no one who's experiencing things close to what she's experiencing are experiencing it in the same way.
Yes. There's many different versions of immortality in the
Marvel
Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's sort of like Wolverine is like, you don't even want to know.
Yeah.
Basically. And it doesn't serve to talk about it because we have work to do.
Yeah.
But that's sort of from the perspective of a guy who's been blown up and then suspended in like...
Has legs thrown on a mountain and had to climb back up to get him.
I don't think Wolverine experiences an afterlife.
Well, his brain is only like is human as you can get, so it only can only remember like 90 years, and then it kind of like wipes
Yeah,
and
and
dissolves.
he doesn't
Yeah.
really spend any time in it.
Yeah.
He's just gone and then back.
Yeah.
And then for Thor, as the All-Father, he can see everything.
Yeah.
And he's like, everything has an end, and that's how it works. And I'll have mine, and it's already been written, and that is the way.
Everything ends. Galactus
Yeah.
was immortal, and bam, I threw a hammer through him.
And
Yeah.
she's like, that's not really what I'm saying. Like, what I'm experiencing is like some sort of special hell. But no one has seen what she's seen. So
Yeah.
But yeah, the leader has been slowly built as this terrifying villain in the Immortal Hulk, and then he is in this, and he's just as horrifying.
Yep.
I think this comic was definitely like, if I don't think it's necessary reading if you're reading Immortal Hulk, but like, read this if you're reading Immortal Hulk. It's fucking great.
If you want a little more Immortal Hulk, it's more of that.
yeah, it's more of that. You know, it also.
I also like to see how Jen deals with it differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the fact that she tries to have gentle conversations with other members of the Avengers who she knows has experienced different things is just a testament to her character versus Banner, who would not do that at all.
Yeah.
And wouldn't even be interested in thinking about doing that.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that, and I also think that it was really cool to show her wrestle with her self-image in a different way. Because he
Yeah.
does it too, but it's like a body horror. With her, it's not treated that way.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
yeah.
guy's wearing a shirt in a comic store that says "Trade Waiter's gonna wait."
Yeah.
Wait,
It's a good shirt.
I guess I'm a
Word
trade waiter.
burglar is funny.
Is that a word burglar thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
He wrote that.
He wrote the book.
Yeah.
Okay, I know him as the word burglar. I don't know him as an author's name as well. That's cool. Great.
In fact, his music is swelling right now. I guess we're done.
I guess so. Yeah.
Wednesday to Wednesday, I be going hard from like Wednesday to Wednesday.
Yeah, hey, pal, you got that one where Superman goes to Supertown? Yeah, I got that when it come out. I like the fourth